Hey guys, welcome back to Guys Teach Stuff. So today you will be learning about solutions and evaporation from topic 7Eb and 7Ec in your Exploring Science Textbook 7 with myself, Sean, the best teacher on this YouTube channel. First, let's take a look at solutions. Remember how we went through filtering and treating water to ensure that it's safe to drink last week? Well, if you do, well done, you rock. And if you don't, that's okay. Maybe go back to the first video and revise that first. Anyways, we have to realize that even after removing impurities and unwanted substances, the solution may not always contain only water. This is because it may have minerals like magnesium, calcium, sodium, and other substances that are beneficial for you. And remember from last week, this is still a mixture with dissolved substances in it. So what exactly is a solution? Well, it is a liquid mixture in which the dissolved substance breaks into pieces, so small that light can pass through the mixture. So basically, a solution has stuff dissolved in it, but you can't see them, as if they have disappeared. And we can then call the solution transparent. Now I'm going to go into the real technical vocab, so listen in for the next few minutes. As you have learned, a solution has two parts. These are formally known as the solute and the solvent. But what do these words mean? Well, the solvent is just the liquid part of the solution, so the water. And that means the solute will be the substance that is dissolved, like salt for example. And just to be clear, the solute does not have to be a solid, as if we take water, it can dissolve solids, some gases, and even some other liquids. Let's move on to solubility. That word might sound scary, but it's really simple if you think about it. Basically, a substance that can dissolve in a solvent is said to be soluble in that solvent. So for example, let's say we dissolve sugar in water. Then we can say sugar is soluble in water. And let's say we try to dissolve sand. Well, if you remember from the last video, that is known as a suspension, because sand cannot dissolve in water, and we can say that it is insoluble in water. Also, it's important to understand that some substances can be insoluble in one solvent but soluble in another. For example, nail varnish is insoluble in water but is soluble in a liquid called propanone, used in nail varnish remover. And let me give you another example. If we keep adding spoonfuls of sugar to the water and stir the solution each time, what will happen after some time? Well, believe it or not, you will actually notice some grains of sugar at the bottom of the solution. This shows that no more sugar can be dissolved. We can say that the solution has become saturated. And a saturated solution is basically a solution in which no more of the solutes can be dissolved in. Here we have 100 grams of water, and we are adding 36 grams of salt. And as we know from before, salt is soluble in water. Now, adding the 36 grams of salt has actually made the solution saturated. So this means if we add any more salt, like here on the right, it will not be able to dissolve anymore and just sink to the bottom. What if we heat the solution? Can we then dissolve that extra sugar present in the saturated solution? Well, yes, we can increase the solubility of a solute by heating the solution. Solubility is the ability of a substance to get dissolved in a given liquid. The quantity of a substance that can dissolve in hot water is much more as compared to that in cold water. So therefore, we can confidently say that temperature affects the solubility of a substance. Now, we are finally moving on to 7Ec, also known as evaporation. And the thing is, I've already covered most of this topic in the last video, and you can click the pop-out banner in the top right to see the in-depth video on mixtures and different separation techniques, including an evaporation experiment from topic 7Ea, or click the link in the description. Anyways, basically, you need to know that during evaporation, the liquid turns into a gas which escapes into the atmosphere. The evaporating liquid leaves behind the solids that were dissolved in it, which we just learned can be called the solute. And a new point that I didn't cover last week is that evaporation can happen at any temperature, even when it is cold. However, the rate of evaporation increases as the temperature increases. The last thing we need to go through today is the difference between boiling and evaporation. So they may sound similar, but they're actually quite different because evaporation is when a liquid is turning into a gas at the surface of the liquid, whereas boiling is when liquid is turning to gas throughout all the liquid. For example, in the Pacific Ocean, when the sun is heating it up, the whole thing won't just disappear, but only the surface of the liquid is being evaporated. And for the boiling, you can see bubbles spread across the liquid, and these are bubbles of gas newly made from the liquid. Important we need to know is that the temperature at which a liquid boils is known as its boiling point, and different liquid substances have different boiling points. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, while ethanol boils at about 78 degrees Celsius under the same conditions. Now I have explained everything, let's look at this checklist. You should now be able to describe how soluble substances can form solutions, identify the solutes and solvents in a solution, describe the effects of different variables on solubility, describe how solutes can be separated from a solution by evaporation, and lastly, be able to describe differences between evaporation and boiling. Thank you very much for watching Guys Teach Stuff. Please come back to this channel for more science videos that will be uploaded in the near future. Thank you, and that's it for me.